Welcome to a new video which is about ordering values of trigonometric functions. Without further ado, let's get started, guys. Here I have 4 rules for you, and in the first one it says if a plus b is equal to 90 degree, then sine a is equal to cosine b, or cosine a is equal to sine b. These are the same thing. Or tangent a is equal to cotangent b, or cotangent a is equal to tangent b. And I put here an example. For example, sine 20 is equal to cosine 70y, because if you add 20 by 70, it's 90. So we can easily say that sine 20 is equal to cosine 20, or sine 70 is equal to cosine 20. These are the same thing. And as another case, we can say that cosine 30 is equal to sine 60, or cosine 60 is equal to sine 30. Or we can say that tangent 20 is equal to cotangent 70, guys. Why? Because if you add 20 by 70, then we get 90 degrees. So we can write such a relation. And as a second rule, suppose that 0 is less than a, and that is less than b, and that is also less than 90 degree. In other words, from greatest to least, the angles are 90, b, a, and 0. And if there is such a case, then always sine b is greater than sine a, guys. In other words, for example, actually I put it here already. As we see here, sine 70 is greater than sine 20. Why? Because 70 is greater than 20. And also, if you look at here, cosine a is greater than cosine b. So, for example, cosine 30 is greater than cosine 60. When it comes to sine, the greater one is the greater. Okay. When it comes to cosine, the smallest angle is greater. We can memorize it in this way. And for rule 3, again, suppose we have such an order in terms of angles, and then tangent b is greater than tangent a. Why? As an example, tangent 70 is greater than tangent 20, right? Because 70 is greater than 20, that's why. And cotangent a is greater than cotangent b. So cotangent 30 is greater than cotangent 60. Why? Because the cotangent of the smaller one is greater than the bigger one. We can think it in this way. And as a last rule, suppose that a is an acute angle, which is between 0 and 90, right? In this case, always tangent a is greater than sine a, and always cotangent a is greater than cosine a. And I put examples here also. For example, tangent 70 is greater than sine 70, or cotangent 30 is greater than cosine 30. And I have a tip for you guys, and it says when it comes to ordering trigonometric values, always convert all angles to acute angles. For example, I put here the cases where the angle is between 0 and 90, but you might have cases like, for example, 210, right? So tangent 210 degree, for example. In order to compare those angles, firstly, you should convert this 210, okay, 210 to a degree where the degree is between 0 and 90 degree. How we can do it? Well, we can write 210 as tangent 180 plus 30, right? So 30 plus 180, because if you add 30 by 180, then it's 210 degree. And then what you can do is, if you remember, I already made a video about this topic. You can take a look at it there. But here what we were doing was, we were checking the quadrant of this angle, right? This angle, which is 210 degree, is in the third quadrant, or in the third region. And in the third region, tangent was positive. So this is going to be plus tangent 30, guys. So by doing this, as you can see, I convert an angle which is greater than 90 degree to an angle where the angle is an acute angle. And this is our first question, guys, in this video. And in the question it says put A, B, C, and D in order from greatest to least, where A is given us as sine 20, B is given us as sine 60, and C is cosine 10, and D is cosine 40, guys. In such questions, guys, in this type, actually, I recommend you to write everything in terms of just one function. For example, this is sine, right? This is sine, there's no problem. That is cosine, so it's better to write this cosine in terms of sine. The same thing is here, guys. This is also cosine. I'm gonna write it in terms of sine. So A is sine 20 already, right? B is sine 60 already. And C is cosine 10 is what? 10 plus what is 90 degree. If you add 80 to 10, it's gonna be 90, right? So C is actually sine 80 degree, guys. This is 80. And D is, if you add 50 to 40, it is 90, right? So D is sine 50, guys. Now I have sine 20 here, I have sine 60, sine 80, sine 50. As we learned, whichever angle is greater, then that value is greater in sine. So we can say that C is the biggest one because 80 is the highest number here. So we can say that C is greater than, and the next one is 60, right? So it's going to be B, and that is greater than also. The next one is 50, so it is D, and the smallest one is A, which is sine 20, guys. And this is how we can solve such type of questions. Again, in such cases, if it's like sine, cosine, then just convert all of them into either sine or cosine. The same thing is true for tangent and cotangent, guys, also. Tangent and cotangent, okay? If all angles are given to you in terms of tangent and cotangent, write everything in terms of either tangent or cotangent. You can apply the same method there as well. And next question, and in the question it says put A, B, C, D in order from greatest to least, again, where we have different functions. A is tangent 50, B is cotangent 30, C is sine 50, and D is cosine 50, guys. Again, for tangent and cotangent, it's better to write them either in terms of tangent or cotangent. Let's pick tangent. So A is already given to you as tangent 50, right? So B is, I'm going to write B in terms of tangent again, because 60 plus 30 is going to be 90. So we can say that B is tangent 60, guys. And sine 50, well, because I have here sine 50 and tangent 50, I know which one is greater, right? If the angles are same, when it comes to comparing tangent and sine, then we can easily say that tangent is greater. So I want to keep C as it is. C is sine 50, guys. And for D, I want to write this cosine in terms of sine as well, because 80 plus 10 is going to be 90. So I can say that cosine 80 is sine 10, guys. So I'm going to write D as sine 10. And now, if you remember, when it comes to tangent, if the angle is greater, then that value is greater. So here, 60 is greater than 50, right? That means B is the greatest one in this question. So I'm going to put as first one B. So B is greater than, guys. B is greater than A. And if the angles are same, like here, 50 and 50, right? When you compare sine and tangent, tangent is greater. So the next one is after A and then C comes, right? Why? Because this is sine 50 and this is sine 10. So the smallest one is D here. By the way, also when it comes to sine, if the angle is smaller, then the value is smaller. Because 50 is greater than 10 degree, then we can easily say that sine 50 is also greater. So this is the order in this question, guys. And this is our last question, guys, in this video. And again, we have a similar question. It says put A, B, C, D in order from greatest to least. We have tangent for A, tangent 47. And just, I recommend you to keep something in mind, guys, and that is tangent 45 degree is equal to, guys, cotangent 45 degree, and that is also 1, guys. So when you pass 45 for tangent, then you are getting values greater than 1. Okay, just keep it in mind. When you pass 45 for cotangent, then you are getting values which is less than 1. Okay, and also if you remember, there was a formula which is tangent x times cotangent x, and that is 1, guys. So always I recommend you to memorize this formula as well. If you increase tangent, then you decrease cotangent actually, because their multiplication should be 1. So just keep it somewhere, okay? Just I recommend you to keep it in your mind all the time. Anyway, so here tangent 47, right, which is greater than 45. So I know that A is greater than 1, guys. And this is 45 degree. If that would be 45, tangent 45, sine 45, I know that tangent 45 was going to be greater. But because it is already 47, so it's already greater than 1. So I know that A is greater than B, guys. So when it comes to C and D, I have cotangent and cosine because I have tangent and sine for A and B. So I'm going to convert C and D to tangent and sine as well. So for C, cotangent 20 is equal to what? Tangent 70, right? Because 70 plus 20 is going to be 90 degree. So for C, I can write tangent 70, guys. For D, I have cosine, because 75 plus 25 is not 25, but 15, right? Because 15 plus 75 is going to be 90. We can easily say that cosine 75 is sine 15, guys. So I have tangent 70, tangent 45. So because 70 is greater than 47, I can say that C is greater than A, guys. Why? Because A is tangent 47, guys. And because 70 is greater than 45, for sure, this is tangent 47. So I can easily say that C is the greatest one in this question, and the next one should be A, guys. For the next one, we have B, sine 45 and sine 15, guys. Because 45 is greater than 15, then I can easily say that B is greater than D, guys. So the next one is B greater than D, guys. And this question was our last question, guys, in this video. If you have any question, you can put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.